Part 1. Introduction. The Question of Existence. Assalamu alaikum. Hi guys, I am Aminul Islam. Welcome to my channel. Today we will embark on a journey that mankind has been on since the beginning of creation, the journey of self-knowledge. Who am I? Logically, why are we here? Logically, what is the purpose of life? These questions have repeatedly arisen in the minds of people from the beginning of civilization to this day. Have you ever looked at the stars in the sky and thought, how small we are? Yet why do we have such big questions in our minds? Why do we exist in this vast expanse of the universe? And where will we go at the end of our journey in this life? In this series, we will seek answers to these questions from two perspectives: Western philosophy and Islamic thought. We will see how various thinkers and Sufi saints have walked the path of self-exploration and what we can learn from their experiences. This journey of ours is not just about gaining knowledge, but also about self-realization. In each episode, we will discuss one topic so that we can reach a deeper understanding of ourselves, the purpose of our existence. Today we are starting. Let's embark on this journey of self-discovery together. Episode 2. Exploring the I in Western philosophy. Today we will see how the concept of I or self has evolved in Western philosophy. We can start with Socrates saying in ancient Greece, "Know thyself." This sentence was engraved on the entrance to the Temple of Delphi. Socrates believed that the most valuable form of knowledge is self-knowledge, because it frees us from error and leads us to the path of truth. According to Plato, man is a combination of body and soul. He believed that our soul is immortal, which existed before birth and will continue after death. What we know is actually memory, the memory of our soul's pre-existence. Then we come to the Middle Ages. St. Augustine said, "I have become a question to myself." He believed that the human soul longs to return to God, and we find God within ourselves. In modern times, René Descartes famously said, "Cogito ergo sum." I think, therefore I am. He said, I can doubt everything, but I cannot doubt that I doubt. Therefore, my thinking being is the proof of my existence. David Hume went a step further and said that there is no permanent entity called I, but rather we are a continuous flow of experiences, thoughts, and feelings. The modern existentialist philosopher Sartre said that humans create their own identity. Existence precedes essence, the identity we are not born with, but rather we create it through our actions and decisions. This exploration of the I in Western philosophy shows us that humans have always tried to know themselves, but different philosophers have taken different paths. Part 3. Human existence in an Islamic perspective. Today we will discuss the meaning of human identity and existence in Islamic philosophy. In Islam, human identity is directly related to his creator. In the Quran, Allah Almighty says, "When your Lord said to the angels, I am going to create a vicegerent representative on earth." Surah Al-Baqarah 230. From this verse, we see that Allah created man for a special purpose, to be his representative on earth. The Quran also describes the process of human creation. He created man from dust, then he fashioned him and breathed into him his spirit. Surah Al-Sajdah 32, 7-9. Here we see that man is made up of two elements, the physical body from dust and the spirit from Allah. Due to this dual nature, man is drawn to worldly needs and desires on the one hand, and to spiritual heights on the other. From an Islamic perspective, human existence is divided into three parts. 1. Ruh, spirit, which comes from Allah. 2. Qalb, heart, which is not just a blood-pumping machine, but also the center of spiritual feelings and perceptions. 3. Nafs, self, which expresses a person's desires, instincts, and nature. In Islam, the nafs is divided into three levels. Nafs-e-amara, which is drawn to evil, nafs-e-lawama, which is self-critical, aware of one's own mistakes, nafs-e-mutmainna, which is at peace in harmony with the will of Allah. In Sufism, it is said that the path to human self-realization is to pass through these three levels and finally reach the nafs-e-mutmainna. Ali ibn Abi Talib, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "You think you are a small body, but within you is a whole world." Imam Al-Ghazali wrote, "He who knows himself knows his Lord," which is similar to Socrates' concept of know thyself. Part 4. The meaning and purpose of life in philosophy. Today we will discuss the meaning and purpose of life from different perspectives in Western philosophy. What is the meaning of life? Numerous philosophers have sought an answer to this eternal question of mankind. Let's look at some of the main doctrines. Aristotle's eudaimonism. Aristotle believed that the purpose of life is eudaimonia, which is usually translated as happiness, but its meaning is much deeper. It is not just pleasure, but the highest possible development of man, intellectually, morally, and socially. According to him, man finds true happiness only when he fully develops his innate qualities and abilities. Stoicism. Stoic philosophers such as Zeno, Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius believed that the purpose of life is to live in harmony with nature or live according to conscience. They taught us to focus on what we can control, our attitudes, decisions, rather than worrying about what we cannot control. Hedonism. Philosophers like Epicurus taught that the purpose of life is to find pleasure and avoid pain. However, Epicurus saw true happiness as peace of mind, simple living, and philosophical contemplation. Nihilism. Philosophers like Nietzsche believed that the world had no inherent meaning or purpose. With his famous declaration of the death of God, he meant that the foundations of traditional values and religious beliefs had collapsed. Existentialism. Existentialists like Sartre, Camus, and Kierkegaard argued that life has no predetermined meaning. We create meaning in our lives through our choices, actions, and commitments. The fact that we are free and responsible is central to the human condition. Logical positivism. Philosophers such as Wittgenstein and Russell have argued that questions about the meaning of life are meaningless because there is no scientific way to test such questions. Modern and postmodern perspectives. Many contemporary philosophers believe that meaning in life can be found in pursuing one's values and goals, in establishing relationships, in creativity, and in working for the good of others. Viktor Frankl's logotherapy teaches that humans are meaning-seeking creatures. According to him, meaning in life can be found in 3 ways: in work or creation, in loving someone, or in learning to take a courageous stand in the face of suffering. Part 5. The purpose of life in Islam. Today we will discuss the purpose and meaning of life in Islam. From the Islamic perspective, the purpose of life is very clear and specific. Allah Almighty declares in the Quran, "I have not created the jinn and mankind except to worship me." Surah Al-Dariyat 51:56. This verse clarifies the main purpose of human existence, the worship or worship of Allah. However, the word worship does not only refer to formal worship, such as prayer, fasting, but rather has a broader meaning. According to Islamic scholars, worship refers to living according to the will of Allah, following His instructions, and performing all actions to earn His pleasure. Even daily tasks, if done with good intentions, are included in worship. The Quran also states, "The most honored of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you." Surah Hujurat 49:13. This verse implies that a person's life will be judged by his fear of and obedience to Allah, not by his wealth, lineage, or external position. Imam Al-Ghazali wrote in his famous book, Kimya-e-Sa'adat, The Chemistry of Happiness, that the ultimate goal of human life is to know, understand, and love Allah. From this knowledge and love, obedience and worship spring. From the Islamic perspective, our worldly life is a test. He created death and life, that He may test you as to which of you is best indeed. Surah Mulk 67:2. How we use our time, wealth, knowledge, and power in this test will determine our outcome in the hereafter. The concept of Tawheed, monotheism, is also important in understanding the purpose of life. In Islam, the recognition of the oneness of Allah is not just a matter of faith, but a whole way of life, where all actions are unified in obedience and devotion to Allah. From an Islamic perspective, human life is not divided into 2 parts, religious and worldly. Rather, all life is religious if it is done for the pleasure of Allah and according to His guidance. Finally, the purpose of life in Islam is clear. Worship of Allah, fulfilling His will on earth as His representative, and benefiting mankind. It is through the fulfillment of these purposes that true peace and contentment come. Thank you for your time and attention, the most valuable gift you can give. I'll see you next video.